So, hey everybody, we are here today talking not live, we're actually recording, but we're going to be talking about live video, and I have Cathy Hackl here. Hey, Cathy.
Hey, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
So, Cathy is the expert on live video, and she's going to take us through what's some of the trends are in live video, what we can do with it as a social media manager, and what we can expect in the future. So, Cathy, what is this huge trend with live video? Why is it so important? And tell us what you think the latest is happening.
I think live video, live streaming has been around for a long time, but I think it's fairly new that we're able to actually go live from our phones. I used to be a journalist, and back in the day, we needed a live truck, a satellite truck to go live. Now we have millions of dollars of technology, let's say, in our phones. It's basically, it has taken over the world in the sense that a platform like Facebook is all in on live video. So Meerkat, which has already passed away, came out first. February of last year, then Periscope came out in March. Got my pillow there. I was one of the first people on Periscope, so that always makes me very excited to say. And then Facebook jumped into the live streaming and the live video world, and that really changed and revolutionized everything. And I think a lot of people are going to start to see the campaign ad on television and billboards and digital billboards, where Facebook is showing people how to go live and urging, and really trying to get them to go live on the platform.
So you can go live as an individual, and as a brand, you can go live on your Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And so give some examples of some trends on how brands, large and small, can utilize Facebook Live or any other live streaming video that might be appropriate.
Definitely. Brands are using it to create fun engagement. I saw a lot of brands on election night not too long ago using it, since the country was so stressed out, no matter, this is not political, I'm just saying everyone was stressed out.
I'm still tired from that night.
Everyone's tired. A lot of brands had get relief stress, watch a candle, a nice candle, there was a negative candle, but, they had a Japanese, a garden. They had some brands were trying to do something to say, okay, it is election night, but you can always watch your feed and it'll be more relaxing. So I saw that play out a little bit on Facebook Live, and I thought that was interesting. They're using it a lot to communicate with audiences and to promote their what they're doing. I like it because of the engagement. I think people can ask questions, and then the brands, if they can answer, or if not, they can always go back to those comments. But it's that real-time engagement that you get on live video that I think is very, very valuable to brands.
Definitely. And I see, just some of the speakers in our sector. So Guy Kawasaki is one. I love how he's using it, and he can basically use it as announcing news, or doing a kind of a FAQ on a certain subject, or just doing a presentation that you would just see at a conference. You can just do on Facebook Live.
It's like having your own TV show. Now you can have the Lisa Meyer show, or the Cathy Hackl show, or the whoever show. It's like having your own show because you can go live. That being said, if you are going live for a brand that you work for or represent, you have to do it from your business page. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Especially if you're a company that sells products and everything. So I think you're going to be seeing two different things. The live video that's going to happen on the business front, and then the live video that's going to happen on our personal pages, which is going to be more like, hey, I'm out here at Lake Alice or whatever, or I'm out shopping for spectacles from Snapchat or whatever. You're going to see a lot of these things kind of happen, and it's going to be different. The context of the live video is going to be different.
So how do you choose? So let's say you have you're a personal brand, and you have a huge following on your Facebook profile page and not so much of a following on your Facebook brand page. So, it's like you have to kind of balance out, okay, where is your audience, right?
You got to balance it out, and you can still go live on your personal. You just have to make sure that you're not selling on your personal.
Okay.
If you're promoting a new product, if you're trying to get people to buy tickets to a movie or whatever it is, you have to make sure that it's done in the business page and not in the personal page, because Facebook is going to, crack down on that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they're going to crack down on that. And also, because this has already happened to me and to lots of people, make sure that when you're going live, if there's music in the background or whatever, be very careful with that, because I've had that where some of my lives have gotten shut down because even if it wasn't my music, let's say you're at a restaurant and there's music in the background, if the computers and all, the AI that is behind live identifies that as a copyright material, they will shut it down unless you can. They send you an email asking if you have permission to use this copyrighted material.
Oh, Cathy, that's a great tip.
Mm-hmm. So just be careful, just be careful and keep your ears out, your ears out for that kind of stuff.
So we have all these different outlets to pick from when it comes to live streaming video. So there's Facebook, there's Periscope, there's Snapchat, there's YouTube, and now we just heard Instagram.
I know, so exciting, right?
So what do you think about that, and how do you choose?
Okay, what I think from that is that last year when this came out and a lot of us embraced it, some people in the social media world were saying us skeptics, oh, whatever, this is just a fad. No, this is taking over social media. It's not going away. It's taking over social media. How do you choose? I think that it has to be the platform where your audience is. Some brands are going to be very heavy on Twitter and have a lot of followers on Twitter. So those brands probably need to be more on Periscope than they are going to be on Facebook Live. So I think choosing is going to depend on which brand and what type of brand it is and where the audience is. If you're trying to reach, millennials and Gen Z, definitely Snapchat. I mean, you're a super amazing Snapchatter, Lisa, and you know that firsthand, that if you want to reach that audience, that's where they're at. So I also love Musical.ly. So I think that's a fantastic platform. Of course, it's more like fun and everything, but still, that's a great place for brands that I don't see a lot of brands there yet. So I think it's a good place for them to have fun.
Less competition.
Less competition, and they can have fun on Musical.ly,
Definitely. So what are some mistakes that you see brands making when it comes to live streaming?
Some of the things that really are pet peeves of mine are when brands test on their, they go live, but they are testing on their actual Facebook Live pages. And, that is just not professional. You obviously probably have a communications team. So I urge you to test it out on a personal page before you test it out on a business page. I think that's very important. And some people say the lighting or shaky. Well, live is raw and authentic, and sometimes that's part of the beauty.
Yeah, it's part. It seems like social media, it's a little bit more forgiving than it used to be. Hopefully we're getting to that point where we're not really, calling brands out because of these authentic things that are happening, that it's authentic, it's real.
Yeah. So, and then that being said, if you can afford certain equipment, go for it. If you can try to make your lives better, do them better. But don't think that it has to be a perfectly produced YouTube video, because it's not YouTube.
Exactly. So do you have any favorite moments? For example, the Chewbacca mom, she, just comes to mind. But what are some of your favorite moments in live streaming video?
I'll tell you my favorite moment. Actually, I have two or three. I'll tell you my first favorite moment in live streaming. This was back in May of last year. So Facebook Live wasn't around. It was actually on Periscope. David Gutenfelder, who's a reporter for the New York Times, was inside North Korea. He was in Pyongyang, and he went live on Periscope. And he was able to show us something that we don't really get to see ever. Because he was doing it from the balcony of his hotel. That's the only place he could do it, because he always had a handler or whatever. So, he was very limited as to what he could show. But just being able to see that unfiltered view of North Korea, of Pyongyang, without having the government, let's say, control that, was interesting. And everyone on the feed was like, are you going to get arrested? What's going to happen? Well, at that point, Periscope was so new that, of course, a lot of people didn't even know what it was.
It just went under the radar.
So, under the radar. So I still have those screenshots, because to me it was impactful.
Yes.
I was able to see this. I was able to experience this with this person in real time and have a conversation with them while they were doing this. So by far, that's one of my favorite moments. I think Dan Rather has had some really interesting, honest moments on Facebook Live. If you follow him, he's an incredible journalist. So I think that it's been interesting to be with him in his living room.
Yeah.
You're used to seeing many of us were used to seeing him behind the desk, and it was interesting to have that access to him on live. That's been one of my favorite moments. Chewbacca Mom, I mean, that just brought
Yes.
everything. I mean, that's like a catalyst. That was one of the
Yes.
moments like,
Yes.
yes, we've arrived. Live video
It's
has been
amazing.
recognized. Not so favorite, I would say one of my not so favorite moments, but still quite important. Philando Castile, an African American man that was shot, and his
Yeah.
fiance filmed it on Facebook Live. I can tell you that that was a very critical day, I think, in live video. It showed the power of live video. I can tell you I spent literally like 4 hours on media calls that day because they were looking for someone that knew about live video. So it was really interesting to see how this is becoming not only a fun tool, but a tool that can be used for social good in some way. So,
Exactly. And Cathy, you know what? I think it's important to point out that you've really been behind live streaming video since, practically day one. Cathy
mhm.
put together the very first Periscope Summit. Al Roker was involved.
Yeah.
You've been behind the scenes at Twitter. You've been behind the scenes at Facebook. So tell us, give us some tidbits of how you saw this, getting started, and what was it like to be at Twitter headquarters and Facebook headquarters?
I can tell you that live video has changed my life. I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for live video. It has been amazing. I think that because of the fact that I embraced it so early on and I saw it, I saw what was coming. I've been granted access to amazing events and being able to kind of like you said, be it Twitter, be it Facebook, because it's like being visiting the mothership. That's what I
Right.
call it, and it's interesting because the first time I went to Twitter, I just remember how nervous and excited I was. I was just kind of like nervous. Now, kind of like funny, but I've been to Twitter like 3 or 4 times. So now I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to Twitter, which is hilarious. It's like, you're going to Twitter. Facebook, I've been to Facebook twice. Same thing. The first time I went, I was just, oh my gosh, this is it. Like I saw Mark
it's
Zuckerberg, for
it's
example.
like the selfie moment of your life, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like crazy. So yeah, I mean, these are trends that folks need to embrace, and my advice to people that are listening to this is if you find a platform or a something that's going on social media and you love it, embrace it, embrace it and try to learn as much as you can about it, because if you become the go-to person or someone that has a lot of knowledge on this, it's going to be really beneficial to you. So
Definitely. And so what do you see as what's on the horizon? What can we expect from live streaming video, and what do you see coming up?
well, mobile live video on YouTube is going to be interesting. They announced it at VidCon this year. We can do YouTube live. I mean, that exists already. It's more of going live on your mobile. I think that that's going to be the big thing. And they still haven't released it to the masses. Very few YouTubers have access to it. So I think that that'll be interesting because this is a YouTube generation. So we'll see how that changes. I think that it's also having a huge impact on television. Many people who are cord cutters and don't have cable watched the elections or watched the debates or whatever unfold on Facebook Live. So I think that, I wrote an article about this for the Huffington Post back in August of last year, on how live video in some way was the future of television. So, and I see that in the aspect of Facebook Live, of Snapchat, of all these components of what live video is. So I think we're going to see a lot more integration, and it's just going to be truly exciting.
Yeah, and I think we'll see how things are going to work out with, for example, I read how the NFL, I guess, is banning streaming video
Mm-hmm.
from behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, wait a second. This was what we really liked.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. That being said, another big trend, and I know we probably don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but as you know, like this is extremely passionate. Like I'm extremely passionate about this. Is virtual reality, and what live video eventually is going to evolve into social VR, which is partly what Mark Zuckerberg displayed in Oculus 3. So you might want to definitely share that with your students, because that demo is truly fantastic of what kind of a little bit of what the future holds in the live video space.
Well, Cathy, I think a better idea than that is we'd love to have you back. I want to talk about trends the very last week of this class, and we'll get really into more detail about virtual reality and some tips and how it's going to be integrated into social. Can you come back and join us in a couple
I
weeks?
would love to. I'm always here to share the knowledge.
Okay,
So
great. So we'll try to set that up. Any last pieces of advice when it comes to live streaming video maybe equipment tips, what future
Mhm.
social media managers, just a couple quick actionable tips.
Yeah, I mean, test it out. I mean, there are simple things. You don't have to spend a gazillion amount of money. This is like a little tripod. It's like $19. Just have fun with it. Learn how to do it, and just go live. Really, I think that's my thing. Go live, and watch out for what's coming, because VR and AR are going to have a huge impact on live video. So.
Okay, great. Well, Cathy, thank you so much for joining us. We will hopefully get together with you in a couple weeks, and I will check in with you then.
All right. Thank you.